Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the RnRGzrs
Oh yeah,
show. I'm your host, Murph. And as always, my co host, Doc Vox over there. How's it going, Doc?
I'm doing so well. It's unbelievable. I can't wait to talk about some rock and roll, Murph, man. How you been, man?
Oh, I've been great. It's been a heck of a week. And last night, well, we'll get into that later
We'll
on.
get into it.
Unreal. Yeah. But quite a week. And in terms of music, it's been a lot of news
A
coming
lot of
up this
news,
week.
yeah.
Pretty crazy. Leading off the pack here, we got our man Alice Cooper. There he is, right there. Uh, just an amazing businessman in the music business. He's just an amazing businessman. He's always touring, and of course his prime musician was Nita Strauss, who he picked up from the Iron Maidens. Just a killer guitarist, killer shredder,
Oh yeah.
and out of the blue, I'm sure he knew, but nobody else did. But she decided to pack up and bug out and get down with Demi Lovato. She's now playing with Demi Lovato, which
That's
whatever,
sad, yeah.
there she is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's awesome, man.
She's really something. Quite a
Yeah, she's done some solo stuff. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, and she was going to be doing a solo tour, and she canceled that also. So this must
Wow.
be a pretty sweet deal. She must be making a lot of money. I saw her
Wow.
that they a few nights back on one of the late night shows. Demi Lovato played, and Nita was playing with her. So
Wow.
wow, she
Wow.
doesn't have her signature
Yeah, I'd love to
guitar or
know
anything. It's
what's going
very
on with
bizarre.
that. Yeah.
But Alice, leave it to Alice. He doesn't burn bridges. He's a businessman. He knows what's going on. So who does he pick? He goes back in the archives and picks out a guy who I actually saw play with Alice back on December 18th of 1988 at the U of I Pavilion in Chicago. That guy was Kane Roberts. There he is.
Yeah.
What a badass. Really. And the funny thing is, this tour is called the Detroit Muscle Tour. And boy, he brought Kane. Look at that. Look at the guns
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
guy for
Detroit
crying
muscle
out
for
loud.
sure. Yeah.
And so very exciting. And right now he's only playing for 2 months with him, September and October. So I have a feeling Kane may be hanging in there because obviously
Yeah.
Alice is paying his people good because nobody's leaving until they get a much better deal. So good for Alice,
Yeah,
man.
it's really strange with Nita Strauss. Been with him, oh wow, for quite a while now.
Yeah, 8 years. She was with him 8
8 years,
years.
okay, yeah.
Hey, I thought maybe he'd grab Orianthi, who played with him before Nita
Right,
Strauss,
right, right,
or
right.
maybe Courtney Cox from the Iron Maidens or something like that. But no, he brought the muscle to the Detroit Muscle Tour. So way to go, Alice. Next up, man.
I would
Wow.
love to know behind the story on that one. I really would. I'm sure
Well,
he and Kane have kept in touch over the years, and who knows, maybe he was next in line, and just uh, and Nita,
yeah,
like I said, 8 years. Maybe she was just kind of ready to move on and do something else. I don't know, but
yeah. That it
it
came
was
as
very
quite a
odd. Demi
surprise.
Lovato, that's just the oddest pairing of all. But
It was a
yeah,
rocking song they played, but she's a shredder.
yeah.
So I don't get it. I don't know.
Seems like wasted talent, but yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
well, she must know what she's doing. She's probably
Yeah,
got a good head on her shoulders business wise now when being with Alice for all these
yeah,
years.
for sure. Right, right, right.
Oh, next up on the agenda. All right, and next up, as a matter of fact, came as a quite a surprise to me. I figured they were done and in the ash heap of history, but I'll be darned. We're talking Pantera. Pantera.
Tara,
Yeah,
nice.
I don't get it, but apparently Rex Brown and Phil Anselmo, the
Philip
singer,
Anselmo.
they're gonna tour as Pantera, which is really quite stunning. That's fine.
Well, they're throwing in the caveat of the tribute tour. So
Yeah,
they're making it obvious that they're not calling it Pantera. It's a
which is
tribute to
good.
Pantera.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
and so you're wondering, well, who in the world are they going to bring in to go, to play Dimebag Darrell's part? And sure enough, man, they picked the man himself, the madman, Mr. Zach Wild. There he
Yeah,
is.
that's a great fit.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time there. And
I don't know, in years past, this ideas come up, you know, how things get kicked around. And Rex Brown was fairly adamant about it. It's like, no, not Zach Wild. But I'm
wow,
sure the powers to be, or, you know, somebody bent his ear a little bit. And yeah, here we are with Zach Wild. And on drums,
they have Anthrax drummer Charlie Benante.
Charlie
Benant,
Benetti, yeah.
Benetti.
Benente,
Very cool. So that ought to be interesting. We'll see. It may be a situation where money talks and bullshit walks.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
They'll probably make a lot of money. So
and Selmos had his other gig going, a band called Down. They've been doing, fairly successful, I suppose. But yeah, they'll never reach the heights of Pantera. Man, I love me some Pantera, man. They're my favorite metal band of that period for sure. I love these guys. Just some good old boys from Texas. Just like if ZZ Top were a metal band, they'd be Pantera. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pantera. But I don't know that I'll go see that. We'll have to see what tickets are and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to see Alice with Kane Roberts again. I remember back in '88 he had a guitar, a flame throwing guitar, which is very cool. And now he has apparently a machine gun, which ought to drive some people crazy.
How politically correct of him.
That's so cool. Okay, and in the breaking news department, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Oh, bro, just real quickly, Eddie Vedder, he kicked out a fan at one of the concerts. A gal, he kicked out a gal. My goodness, I'm thinking, geez, that's not nice. But at the same time, apparently, one of his fans was taping or videoing the concert, which everybody does anymore.
It's
and
ridiculous, yeah.
The chick behind him smacked him upside the head, and Eddie saw it, and so he stopped the whole concert. He starts, I know you're upset, blah blah blah, but violence is not allowed, and you're out of here. So yeah, he had her kicked out. Jeez, wow, boy. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I guess violence ain't right, and everybody's recording the concerts now.
I hope I'm never in that position to be thrown out. I've been in scuffles, whatnot, going to punk shows and stuff, but I don't know, to get kicked out, I don't know. Especially by a member of the band just calling you right out,
right there in front. And it's Eddie, jeez. Well, it must have bummed him out.
Well, she's got a good story, hey.
Yeah. But here's another one, Limp Bizkit. They were supposed to do a European tour, and boom, they canceled the whole damn thing over Fred's personal health concerns. Whatever the hell that means. That's a good one.
I don't want to know what it means, quite honestly. His personal health concerns remain personal.
He ain't gonna be rolling from the sounds of it. Yeah. So
I haven't been keeping up with much with Limp Bizkit. Don't know what they got going on, but over in Europe, that's fine. That's probably where they should be. Another band just getting back together, not on tour. One of your faves, Rage Against the Machine, and apparently, I believe the very first show, possibly the second show.
I saw that.
Zach De La Rocha injured his leg, and kind of limped around for a minute or show and sat down, kind of found a
sat down on a monitor. Yeah. And then they had to haul his ass off. A couple of roadies had to carry his ass off.
So don't know how he's
thank God. That was probably the best. That was probably the best part of the concert, was seeing him getting injured. It's like, finally,
Maybe we'll have to get a hold of Dave Grohl and get that throne that he had a couple of tours back. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Did he loan it to Axl?
Axl.
Was it Axl's loan to Dave or Dave? I don't know.
No.
I think it was Grohl's, right? And then he loaned it to Axl.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
The throne.
Well,
it's rock. It's only rock and roll.
No, Zach De La Rocha needs it, man. So.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure they keep in touch. They can,
That was great. I gotta see more pictures of him getting hurt. I josh, I josh because I love Doc, but he's not a singer. He's just a hollerer.
We all have our artists that way.
He's a hollerer. That's all I gotta say about it. He's a hollerer. It's just terrible.
He is.
But who isn't a hollerer, but he's a darn good singer? be Robin Zander. Ladies and gentlemen, last night we got to
The
what was
mighty
it?
Cheap Trick, yes.
Concert number 5 on our summer concert series, which consisted of Cheap Trick opening up for Rod Stewart, Sir Rod Stewart.
Rod the
And
Mod. That's that right. He was a sir. That's exactly right. Yeah.
that's great. Hey, did you know the drummer was Rick Nielsen's son?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know.
Zach Nielsen.
Obviously, Robin Zander's son. They made him
Joined him
obviously,
as well. Yeah.
but yeah, so that's good for them. Good solid band, good solid set. A lot of new, little bit of old, not too much.
That had a pretty good balance of it. Yeah, and the newer songs that they had that maybe we're not so familiar with, or most of the crowds not. They were good rocking tunes, so it was they fit right in. They always deliver. They're Cheap Trick, man. They always deliver. These guys have played. I would love to know how many they've put 6,000-7,000 shows like that. Man.
Yeah,
these guys have just constantly been on the road.
And Nielsen's always bringing out some goofy guitars. The square one he had.
Brings one out for every
basically
song.
every song.
Every
some classic Les Pauls, and some goofy guitars, and of course at the end he brings out the 5-neck one.
The 5-neck. But he did not bring out the one that looks like him. That's my favorite one. The one that looks like
I'd rather see
Rick
that
Nielsen.
one. I'd rather see that one than the 5-necker. The 5-necker is tedious.
That's a bit
tedious. Yeah. But nonetheless, they
it's
put
rock
on
and roll, man.
They put on a really good, solid show. Crowd loved it, of course.
Got the crowd good and warmed up for Sir Rod.
What do you think, man? Oh,
Rod Stewart was a freaking great show, man. And the place was not packed. I heard commercials on the radio the day prior. They were still selling tickets. So shame on anybody that felt that it wasn't worth their entertainment dollar, because they missed out. It was, I've seen a lot of concerts. I know Mike or Murph, you've seen a lot of concerts. And Rod Stewart, man.
Look at that shot there.
77 years old, brought the goods, man.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
These 6 gay. Well, I think there's only 5 in the picture here, but he had 6 lovely lasses. Let's put it that, just beautiful gals. And he came out of that right out of the gate, doing the Robert Palmer Addicted to Love, right. A video.
Doing the whole take on the video, right?
Right. Saying that, and
except these girls could really play.
These girls were amazing.
These women were totally amazing.
Totally amazing. They
guitar, violins, the harp.
Drum. They had a harpist. Yeah, the big harp.
The
big
mandolin on the Maggie May, doing the mandolin part. All of
unbelievable.
So they were a huge part of the show. Rod's voice, I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned. We talked a couple of shows back about Phil Bailey from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Rod, I would put Rod right there with him, man. Just totally unchanged and just like butter, man. He's just
that same
old Rod Stewart voice, and it's just fabulous show. Very well put together.
Yeah, I got on YouTube earlier, and they've got videos up of the gals. At one point, they were doing a couple of them were doing an Irish dance on top of the stage, and it was just a raucous time. They
had a very well paced where Rod would kind of take a break from time to time and let the gals feature them in a song, and then he'd come back and kind of some of his ballads. They sat down and did an acoustic set for about 4 or 5 of those songs. Five songs. Killing the Georgie, Tonight's the Night, You're in My Heart, You're in My Soul. I can't remember what the 2 were, but it was just Rod really knows. I mean, 77 years old, you wouldn't believe, because he has an 11-year-old son, first of all.
Yeah, he said his whole family was there and backstage.
Family there.
Yeah, couple sons, his wife.
Not to go on too much about it, but very, very well put together show, very well paced show, and everybody left there happy. That's for
great
sure.
Camera work. We had a great director on the cameras for the big screens on the
stellar production across the board.
It was great, really a great time. Yeah. So wow, number 5 was a winner. Coming up next Sunday is Brian Wilson and Al Jardine, legendary Beach Boys, opening up for Chicago, basically another legend, especially around here.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It'll be good to see if Al Jardine and Brian Wilson can play 5 songs. I'll be happy just to see these legends because
Sure.
they got it. It's got to be time for them to be hanging up too. I believe Rod Stewart is doing his last. This is his last shebang.
Yeah,
What I've
I'm
read.
glad I got to see it.
Yeah. Me too, because he's going out on top for sure.
Well spent for sure.
Man, oh man, just great. Sheesh. So, what do you got going on for the meat of the show there, Doc?
Kind of talking about going to the concerts and love the live experience. And got to think about live albums. Always love live albums. Always have. Just
Sure.
it's kind of get to hear what the band's all about. You get, and there's usually most of their hits are on there as well. But yeah, just love live albums. A lot of times we'll look at some of the list of the greatest live albums or whatever. So we kind of decided to do the fans' choice from Rolling Stone rather than the critics. So we'll look at the top 10 fan in the fan voting for live album. You want to start us off there, Murph?
Sure. Well, number 10. This is a good one. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Live Bullet. That was a big one back in the day. Boo-hoo! Heck yeah. Boy, geez, I started out my love of Seeger dancing in grade school to Ramblin' Gamblin' Man. That was one of the big hits back
68,
then.
yeah.
Oh, geez, I was a youngster. I was a youngling.
That was the thing with Seeger. He kind of had that song that kind of broke nationally, and then that was it nationally for a while. He was huge in Detroit, Michigan area.
Sure.
There was one point I was reading they sold out a stadium. It wasn't very big acts, but it was him, I think Elvin Bishop, a couple smaller acts, and they sold out like the where the Lions played. And the next night they go into Chicago and they're playing to 1,000 people. So they had a huge regional following, but didn't quite pull it off
they
nationally.
Pack out the Silver Dome, huh?
Until the live album came out. And a lot of these that we'll go over, you'll see that where it's kind of these live albums broke these bands out on a national scale, and that was certainly one of them. And a lot of great songs. Turn the Page, obviously, is a big classic off there.
Oh, man.
A lot of great songs.
Absolutely, yeah.
I recorded at Cobo Hall in Detroit, 75.
That's a legendary place. You hear that every now and then.
Yeah.
Cobo Hall. Yeah. All right, man. Well, moving along, see how the Rolling Stone listeners, watchers, viewers, whatever market. Number 9 would be the band, The Last Waltz. That's pretty exciting.
And The Last Waltz.
Boom, boom, boom. There you go, man.
If you haven't watched the video, the movie, the documentary, that's what this was about. It was the band, the band with Robbie Robertson, Lee Van Helm, Rick Danko, and the boys. And it was their last. They wanted to have a big production, produced by Martin Scorsese. And Robbie Robertson. And they kind of had all their friends kind of join them. Oh my God, who they? I remember it was Dylan, Van Morrison, towards the beginning of the show, Neil Young,
Eric Clapton,
Muddy Waters. I remember was on it. Muddy Waters, Joni Mitchell, Neil Diamond. Just who's who of the time of great artists. And but what I always found interesting, Lee Van Helm, the drummer, and probably my favorite member of the band, hated it. It with a burning passion, man. Basically, he thought it was just Robbie Robertson taking control and showing that he's the leader of the band, and that he's the star. And it was kind of, since their ending, was kind of launching him into his next part of his career, and so Levi was a kind of bitter about the whole experience, but it's a pretty cool concert video, to watch. It's like I said, it's kind of a little snapshot of the time. Came out. They recorded it Thanksgiving night, 1976, and it's kind of cool. One of the best live albums ever. I don't know, but
well,
there's so many different people on it. I suppose that But,
everything's subjective, so who knows,
yeah,
Uh,
it's just a
moving-
talking point.
Moving along to number 8, though, bada bing, that would be Nirvana, MTV Unplugged in New York. Yeah, there you go, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll agree on that one. That should be on the list.
Unplugged. That means he played that acoustic guitar that recently sold for millions, I believe.
Oh, I'm sure.
Upside
yeah.
down guitar with he had knobs put in it and just weird stuff.
Okay.
And it sold for, I think, and another one of his guitars sold recently for millions. Wow. Geez. So, MTV Unplugged. I'm sure he played that guitar. I should have checked into that. Yeah.
Probably was. I'm sure it was. Yeah. I can't imagine him playing the acoustic much.
He had that one, and that was it. I believe it might have been a Martin. I believe. Yeah. But
sure.
it went for a.
But it is a very good Unplugged. If you never watch it, listen to it. I think it's the best one. I guess people depending on choice, maybe Clapton's no, pretty solid. And they didn't do a lot of their hits. I mean, they did songs that kind of lent themselves to being acoustic. It was like a true acoustic set. They didn't just, they didn't do Teens in Spirit. They didn't do a lot of their hits. And just, they did a few covers. They did David Bowie cover, Meat Puppet song they did on there.
Lead Belly,
Yeah, Lead Belly. It was just, like I said, just songs that kind of lent themselves to that kind of setting. Brought in a fourth guitarist, Pat Smear, former guitarist from the seminal LA punk band The Germs.
Did you say Pat Smear?
Pat Smear, that's his name.
All right.
And now a member of Foo Fighters, and he was kind of the fourth member of Nirvana there for a little while. But yeah, it's in the Library of Congress, all that good stuff. It's a solid live album for sure.
Good for
it's
them.
It's an experience. Man. Everybody should listen to it for sure.
Yeah. Well, number 7, Little Feat, Waiting for Columbus. There it is. The big album.
Some Little Feat. Some Little Feat.
Oh, I get a little applause there. Huh?
Yeah, they're touring on that right now, kind of where they play an album, on tour.
Oh yeah,
and they're redoing the live album, Waiting for Columbus. So
more bands are doing that. Yeah.
I think it's the first one I've seen them redoing a live album though. Live, that's kind of
I'll be darned.
A different twist, I guess, but
a double album.
Yeah, it's double albums. Most of these are.
Tower of Power horn section. Oh my God, he's playing with the band at the time. Oh,
yeah,
I'm nuts for a good horn section. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Little Feat's just I kind of saw him kind of like the Steely Dan of Southern rock, kind of almost. Like these just awesome musicians. Billy Payne on keyboards, just.
Ooh, okay.
Just top notch.
Oh, now the people are waking up here. Number 6, Deep Purple, made in Japan. Woo, doggy.
Yeah, there's another great live one.
Boy, that did a lot on the airwaves, boy. That was all over the airwaves back when it came out. I remember that. Wow. Oh, yeah. And, of course, their original was classic.
Yeah, that was kind of what they call the Mach 2 lineup. So that was kind of what I call the classic lineup of Deep Purple, really. Ian Gillan and Roger Glover.
Man. Yeah.
But at first, they didn't want to do a live album. They didn't intend on doing a live album.
Really?
And they talked them into doing something, and they were just going to release it in Japan. And, see how that went. But
wow. Well, they had 3 under their belt at the time, so
right, 3 studio albums. So
yeah. I'll be darned. Talking
definitely a good snapshot of that picture, that moment in time. And when did that come out? 73. Let's see, April 73. Yeah.
Ah, there you go. Right. Oh, here we go. All right, good Deep Purple. Let's move it along. Okay. Here's something here. Kiss Alive. I actually have Kiss Alive. There it is. Now, geez, I've seen different things on. They went back to the studio and re-recorded a lot of the tracks.
Yeah.
So how live is it? But it's hard to find an indefinite thing. But I could swear I saw.
No, they have. Yeah, oh yeah, they have.
Yeah, that was
Neil Bogart's, admitted as much, and they've even the only thing that was untouched was Peter Chris's drums.
Yeah.
Everything else was redone, including the audience. They even took like peak moments from the audience and kind of
enhanced
duplicated them through the So, and you hear Paul Stanley talk about it to get more of a realistic experience, of being at the show.
The way they put it, in typical Kiss fashion, they hedged their bets by doctoring the tapes in the studio afterwards. Oh boy! Nobody's quite sure what parts of Alive were actually taped live. It hardly.
No.
It was a monster success.
I'm fairly confident. No, fairly confident. It's everything except for the drums.
That's got some great songs. I used to play Cold Gin in a band. That's got such backbeat to it. It's such a great song. Oh, and a few others. Rock.
That was the album that influenced the next generation of hard rock and heavy metal, man. I mean, really. I mean, you talk to any of the guys from then on, and it all comes back to this album. I mean,
yeah.
And again, that's the live album, like Bob Seger's, the live album that broke them through. They had 3 studios prior to that. They didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Had a little cult following, as you expect Kiss would, but went to the live album though.
Yeah, and it's a good album. Even if they doctored a little bit of it, it's still a great album put together really well. Great songs on there. So there you go. Good for them. But it's all there's still a rolling. They'll be rolling.
Forever, they've put out several live albums since then. But yeah, the first one's
number 4, the Rolling Stones. Get your yayas out.
Get your yayas out.
Yeah.
Good old Charlie Watts. Good old Charlie Watts and his donkey on the cover.
Oh man,
one of my favorite covers. That is a great. I totally agree with that. Should be on the list. That is a totally fantastic live album.
Yeah.
Love the Stones that period, and really just after that too. So I wouldn't have minded if that came out a couple albums later, but that's fine just the way it is though. It's a great album.
Yeah.
It was done right before Altamont that we talked about on the last show. So there's that same tour that finished up at Altamont. This is from there. So.
Yeah. Brian Jones had just left the band. Mick Taylor, new guitarist. So they were rocking and rolling there. So there you go.
They just put out their Satanic Majesty's Request album, and it kind of flopped. That was kind of their psychedelic album, and that kind of flopped. That's not their sound. And then they came back strong with this, And again, this is one of the albums. A lot of these albums it seems to be there were a lot of bootlegs at the time, so bands started thinking, well, maybe we should just put out a live album, And people are making money off of us. So
there you go. Yeah. Okay, well, here we go. All right, and next up is many creepers. Here we go.
Let's do it, man.
The pretty boy. It's the pretty boy himself. It's Peter, number 3. Frampton Comes Alive. It's alive. Now I don't get. Geez, we were all. Somewhere this, I think it was Wayne's World that said that everybody was, guaranteed a copy of these.
You were mailed to it in the suburbs or something. Yeah,
it's true. I've got it. Yeah.
Everybody's got it.
I don't know.
But number 3 best live album, maybe best well known. I mean, at one time it was the best selling live album of all time. I mean,
God.
But can anybody name more than 3 songs off of it? I can't. And I've had the album forever. I mean, I think we all know the 3 hits, and then that's pretty much about it, really.
Yeah. The song, and he had the that effect, that guitar effect, the whatever they call it,
the voice box.
Voice box. That's horrible. That's the most disgusting thing on God's great earth. Well,
he was kind of the one that made it popular anyway. I remember at the time people thought, but he's making his guitar talk. This guy's awesome. And then you realize how he's doing it, and he's like, okay.
Yeah, he's got to put his mouth on his tube, and I don't want to go any further, but I've never had one, and
I don't like going further to put my. Never mind.
yeah, Paul. But yeah, oh yeah, and it was just like you say, just a couple of songs, and they were monster, and it's quite a
He
change.
got the girls, and he got the little girls, and he got their big brothers. You know, for a little while.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he definitely could play the guitar to pull in the boys, and had the look, and the songs, I suppose, the lyrics, the pulling the girls, and then they turn around and try to capitalize on and put out "I'm in You" shortly after that, and you remember the cover of that.
You.
I should pull that out. I have it. I should pull it out. Yeah, the cover where he's kind of laying back and posing like I don't know,
like a
Playgirl
little girl
centerfold or something. Yeah, but
like a little girl.
But Pete, is a great guitarist, though. I mean, you gotta give it to him, but he just kind of, I don't know, bad marketing, bad, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then of course he was on part of that Sgt. Pepper's movie that got.
Oh my gosh.
With the Bee Gees, yeah.
So that was horrifying.
That didn't do him any favors either. So
that was bizarre. That was really a bizarre movie. Yeah. And considering he came from Humble Pie, which was one of the most hard rocking is.
Yeah, sure. That's what I'm saying. He had the chops, but
jeez, it just he just had to go there.
He put out a pretty decent album called "Breaking All the Rules." I think in like '81.
Yeah,
that was pretty decent. And then I remember late '80s, I think it was, early '90s, something like that. If I remember right, he was touring with David Bowie.
Yeah,
he was playing guitar for Bowie. So.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of hung around here and there, but third best live album, maybe best well known, but
that's about it. Yeah.
For me.
Well, number 2. Now we're talking Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore East. Boom, baby. Boom. Look at that picture. Now that's a classic picture there, Doc, that you're showing. I'm glad you're showing that. Try and get the glare off of it, sort of tilt it down or something. It's amazing. What happened? Dwayne Allman had just scored something illegal from one of his buddies. He was walking down the aisle there, and one of his buddies came up, so he ran up to him, scored something, sat down. It's in his hands. You can see the guilty look on his face, for Christ's sakes, and that's why everybody else is laughing. That's a classic picture. That is so cool. But you can see the guilty look on his face. He's hiding something in his hands that he just scored. And
great story, right? I know
that's a fact. Yeah, that is a fact. That's why everybody's laughing. Look at how guilty he looks. That's just stunning.
That's hilarious.
What a great album. Oh, jeez, are you kidding? Dwayne Allman, probably the premier slide guitarist.
Yeah, left us far too soon, that's for sure. Yeah. Of all time for slide guitarists, I would say. But,
yeah, that could be. Jeez. Just amazing, amazing. I had this album. I don't know what happened to it. I must have gotten stolen. But
this was the original lineup. All the original boys came out in '71. They had just a couple studio albums, right? Prior, 2, 3 tops.
Oh boy, I'm not even sure.
But yeah, just real early on. But when you have a 23-minute version of Whipping Post and another 30 minutes of Mountain Jam, hey, you don't need a whole big catalog to do a double album even. But this one was a great album, just kind of put on, man. You kind of kicking back, having a few with buddies or whatever, and just
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just
just appreciate the musicianship, and the Allman Brothers, just one of those bands again. Just the musicianship's just top notch, and
Yep.
And Dwayne, a lot of people might not know Dwayne. I think a lot of people do know he's with Derek and the Dominoes. Clapton had him as part of Derek and the Dominoes. And then, but there's a song he does guitar with Wilson Pickett. Remember the Wicket Pickett in the Midnight Hour. Wilson Pickett does a cover of "Hey Jude," and Dwayne Allman does guitar on that. And check that out. As soon as you get done with this, you're on YouTube. Go over and check that out, and you'll thank Doc Rocks later. But yeah, that's well worth checking out.
How cool is that? Jeez, outstanding, man. But good. Number one blows my mind. It has since it came out. The legendary Who live at Leeds. Holy moly. Holy schmokums. Wow. Just amazing. Just the epitome of it was a who at their best. Let's just put it that way. Four members, basically a lead singer with three lead players behind him is what it was.
Yeah.
And they showcased it here. They're out of their mind on this one. They recorded on a 4-track studio. Back then a 4-track studio was the top of the notch,
Yeah.
top of the hill recording.
You look at all the albums that were recorded that way, it's phenomenal. I mean, apparently that's all they needed,
Sergeant Pepper's recorded.
If you know how to do it,
Yeah, absolutely. But geez, it's unbelievable. They recorded a whole bunch of shows that just didn't turn out well. And
that's right. I remember hearing some. There was like I don't know, 40 shows or something that they had recorded.
Let me read it for you. It says 38 shows were recorded in pristine sound quality, but Pete didn't feel like going through all of them to find the best one.
Right.
Instead, he decided to tape 2 upcoming shows at Leeds and Hull in England. He ordered sound engineer Bob Pridden to burn all 38 shows from 69. It was a dumb decision commercially and historically, Townsend writes in his memoir, Who Am I? Bob faithfully destroyed them in a bonfire in his garden. Oh,
wow.
Geez, that's too bad. But nonetheless, we got live.
38 Who shows. Just, I don't want to go through them, burn them. Why not?
I didn't realize that. But, they did save the Hull and the Leeds show. And, man, just a smoking good show. Just, wow. Jeez. Just what do you say? Yeah, Young Man Blues, that's a killer. Shaking all over. They're doing all these old
doing those covers. They just tear them up.
Summertime Blues,
right?
And then of course My Generation and Magic Bus, and it's really quite an amazing.
Yeah, the album was just a single album, correct?
Yeah, you are correct.
And then later with the CD, they expanded, and there's much more on the CD than was out the album. But there's like a 14-minute version of My Generation. Closes with My Magic Bus. It's one of the top ones for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good for them. The Who. Yeah. I dug their live stuff, but
I kind of like the banner in between songs too that they have on the album.
Yeah. And it's funny. What the funny thing about I've seen this. The original album came with all sorts of extra paperwork in it, including a copy of the actual Woodstock contract. And people have showed up on that one show on TV. Pawn Stars with the contract, thinking they got big money.
I've seen that. Yep.
Well, there's about however million of them out there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Sure. That is so cool. So, good luck with that. But definitely a cool live album. And, it's it's one of my 3 or 4 favorites for sure. Speaking of 3 or 4 favorites, you got any favorites of your own that aren't?
Yeah, we got a few of our own that didn't quite make that list. Let me reach over here for one.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Talk about our favorite live albums. This a live box set, Bruce Springsteen.
The Boss.
Live 1975 to 1985.
Okay.
It's a 5-album box set. Came out in 86.
That's probably just one of his gigs, huh? Because back then he used to do 4-hour shows.
Yeah. Still does. But it's various shows from over a 10-year span, doing like a little bit of each album's on there. And at the time, they had the pre-sale was like $1.5 million before it even came out on that.
Wow.
And, I remember at the time that came out in 86, and it was kind of the catalyst for a lot of people to get CD players at the time. A lot of people, hey, Bruce Springsteen's coming out with a live album, man. They want, and again, I'm sure that was, he initiated that because of all the bootlegs. I mean, he was famously bootlegged. And probably say it's time to start putting out, some of our own live stuff. And it's great. I mean, it's like I said, it's got a good snapshot of all those different phases of his career up, just that 10-year period early. And he's, been going strong since. But for that time period, it's a very cool live album. A lot of what he's known for, talking in between songs, kind of telling stories and stuff. So
He's
Very
the
cool. Even
boss.
for the casual Bruce fan, still pretty solid live
He's
album.
the boss. Well, now here's one. Well, this is a rebel one. My one of my choices here, and that would have to be these guys here. MC5.
Yeah.
Woohoo! There you go. Kick out the jams. You know the rest. I'll keep it clean. What the heck?
Brothers and sisters.
Brothers and sisters. Yes.
Yeah.
The MC5. Wow. Detroit City, Motor City 5. These cats were just crazy cool. They were radicals back, and they meant it back in the day, back in the 60s. They meant it. They put this album out. This was their first album, a live album, right? Doc?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Live album, their first
Debuted
album.
with a live album. That's just balls of steel, man. That's just yeah.
Yeah, recorded in Detroit, and it's just raw and just it's vital. It's just crazy cool.
Yeah,
There's no pretty play in here. It's all balls to the wall, feedback and crazy shit.
The beginnings of hard rock, metal, punk, all that kind of music comes from this album. I mean,
and it has one of the best introductions ever. A
couple of them actually.
I mean, brothers and sisters. I want to see your hands. Yeah. But what a great album from beginning to end. It'll blow your mind. We came into it back in the 60s and 70s. So, we were, usually feeling pretty good when we'd listen to it. And it's a beginning to end album. It's really crazy good.
It's a landmark album for sure.
It's so cool. Yeah. What do you got coming up there next?
Yeah, and the MC5, they were, out of the Detroit scene, kind of paired up with the Stooges. Were kind of at the time was kind of their little brother band. It would call them, I suppose, but kind of exceeded the MC5 in a lot of ways. But I do have some bootleg Stooges, but I don't want to turn that. But one of my favorite live albums is from Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop, the King Biscuit Flower Hour. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember that. Sure.
So, I've seen Iggy with and without the Stooges numerous times, and to me, he's just the heavyweight champion front man of rock and roll, man. This guy's just, I'm a big Springsteen fan and Iggy. Might seem like they might not, odd pairing, but that's what I like. It's got some Stooges songs on here, a lot of his solo stuff, and it's a real good feel of what Iggy Pop's concert is like. I mean, this is a real good example of it. So,
well, we saw the Stooges.
You and I saw
quite a few years back. Yeah. That was unreal. Old Chicago. I think it was a Riviera Theater in Chicago. Just claustrophobic and stuffy as hell. And
probably 110 degrees.
It was a perfect atmosphere for the Stooges. It was unbelievable. Boy, was that crazy cool. But the Stooges.
Yeah, if you ever been kind of not really, aware of Iggy Pop or his music, or been maybe a little curious about it, it's a good place to start. It's a live album. Like I said, it's always got a real good sampling of their whole career. So
cool beans, man. And one of my favorites, probably not too many, but one of mine was the Grand Funk Railroad live album. There it is right there. Yeah. Basically, I like it so much because I cut my teeth on Grand Funk Railroad, guitar wise. Learned a lot of my initial playing from the On Time and the Red Album and Little Survival, but this live album, again, another one of those. They're not taking it back to the studio and re-recording a guitar because they misunderstood. It's the real thing. You hear everything as it was performed, and I really sort of like that. Kiss, if you know what I'm talking about there, but nonetheless, it's a great album. Most of their songs up to that point, are on here, including a long version of "In Need," I believe, in the end to end the night. It's just a great album, and I've always loved Mel Shacker's bass tone. I mean, it's like he's got 10 amps and they're all cranked to 11. They're all cranked to 11, but it just always had that just balls to the wall bass tone. Oh God, I loved it. And Farner always had this weird, his guitar tone sucked. I don't know why, but I always put up with it because the songs were so good. But you'll see on the album his tone ain't the best, but it don't matter. The songs are so damn
It's
good
rock and roll, man.
that
And
yeah,
that's why
yeah,
that's what exactly that's what you do want in a live album. And
yeah,
Kiss
just-
might think we want to, have a experience in our ears what we think we're experiencing. No. We want a live freaking album, man. We
Yeah.
want it's the real deal. And I'm sure there's things that need to be, spruced up, here and there, but try to keep it minimal, man, and just
oh yeah, and
keep it raw, man.
it's a great album. It just is. It's like I listen to it a lot still. Three-piece bands. I'm a big fan of three-piece
I
bands.
just recently came up on YouTube while I was watching, as many things do, as I'm sure people are watching this right now. But there's a concert back in 1970, I want to say, in Cincinnati, and it was at Crosley Field where the Reds played, and Grand Funk was one of the bands there, and the Stooges that we just talked about were one of the
really. Well, they're both Detroit. Grand Funk from Detroit. So.
And that's the show. You may be familiar with the picture of Iggy Pop kind of walking on the crowd, and somebody, for whatever reason, hands him a jar of peanut butter, and he's smearing peanut butter all over himself. And for whatever reason, they televised it, and they had these announcers that were announcing the concert as if it were a sporting event. It's the oddest thing. And Grand Funk, I don't know if they let it off. I think there was another band perhaps, and then Grand Funk, and then oh my God, I can't even remember all the bands that were there. But it was just check it out. It's just odd having a concert commented on like that, But
how cool is that?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And nonetheless.
Yeah, what
all
do
right.
you got?
My here's one. This is just oh my gosh. Thin Lizzy.
Oh, really? I never would have thought.
Live and Dangerous.
Really? What year?
I don't when did this come out? 78.
Okay.
So they had, this is after Jailbreak, that's all on here. Jailbreak, Boys Are Back in Town, Cowboy
Warrior.
Song, that's all on here.
Yeah.
Warrior, that's all on here.
Okay, sure.
And
great
going
songs.
back to the early stuff, doing there's a Bob Seger cover they do on here. I don't know if I've ever heard a Thin Lizzy song I don't like, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
They're just
that's true.
They just got that sound and that they're authentic and just I love me some Thin Lizzy.
Dual guitar attack.
Sure.
The two guitar attack,
a lot of the super early stuff, first couple 3 albums, maybe they were still kind of finding their sound a little bit. But there's some gems out of that era even still, but yeah, great live album, Live and Dangerous, Thin Lizzy.
There you go, man. Yeah.
Take my advice on one album.
And there it is.
I don't know if that's it, but maybe it's one of them.
All right. Well, my third and final live album that nobody's really paid attention to, but I love, and that would be Uriah Heep Live. There we go. Boom, baby, boom. There it is. Oh God, I loved Uriah Heep forever. Older brothers that turned me onto him, and man, this live album is just really powerful. If you want to go right to the heart of the matter, go to Gypsy and just turn it up, and that's all you need to know. That right there says it all. It's just a ball-busting, powerful album. Circle of Hands, July Morning, Sunrise, and the hits, Easy Living, and every double album. A lot of music on there. A great rock and roll medley at the end. And David Byron's voice, just never better, just outstanding. And Ken Hensley, just another one of them guys who can really work a Hammond B3, really put a Hammond B3 to work. And boy, he just classic work on this album. All of them were just outstanding. Sadly, there's only one member left alive.
Oh yeah,
and that's Mick Box, who's still keeping a name going. He's been keeping. I think the original lineup has had less years than the lineup he has now, but I'm still a big fan of the original lineup. This is the original lineup, and it's really great. And speaking of King Biscuit Flower Hour, they actually have another live album out, live from the King Biscuit Flower Hour.
Oh yeah,
and it's the same area. It's the original lineup basically. That era. So there you go. The King Biscuit. They did a lot of that, an awful lot of that. But a great album. I can listen to it from beginning to end without skipping. There's just a lot of great great music on there. So that's number 3 of the ones that I dig that are not.
I don't know. I don't know a lot
list.
on Uriah Heep. Mostly of what I know is from you.
Right.
But
right.
I do have one Uriah Heep story.
Okay.
When I was many moons ago in another lifetime, when I was in the army, I was stationed in Germany, a town called Ludwigsburg, near Stuttgart, Germany.
I know it well.
And,
Yeah, sure.
Good old Ludwigsburg. And they had a club there called the Rock Fabric. Translates to Rock Factory. Big, huge, giant club, and it was kind of where bands that came touring or wherever and played in the area, that's kind of where the bands would come and
yeah.
And I happened to be there drinking when Uriah Heep was there drinking. So
very cool.
Didn't really hang out with them or anything, but I was in the bar with them. So that's my Uriah Heep story. That's all I got.
Oh, that's great. Outstanding. Yeah. Well, they're good. I'm sure they probably still put on a great show. I mean, if people keep peeling off and they just keep replacing them, they'll go on until Mick Box can't get out of bed anymore.
They'll go on until they don't have an audience anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll tell you, Doc, I was in my recliner earlier and it took a mighty dose of both intestinal and testicular fortitude to even get the hell out of the recliner after last night's show. That was so cool. So good. Oh, jeez.
Yes, it was.
The only bitch about the concerts is obviously leaving. We get there a little early so that the crowds ain't too bad, but leaving is always a pain in the ass, and there's no good way of fixing it. But it's like Mad Max getting out of there.
Yeah, kind of is. But I don't know. You learned to navigate it quite well, sir. Get out fairly unscathed. So.
I used to drive the big rig, so I can get my ass around them things. Ain't no big deal. So next week we're going to be hitting up with Brian Wilson and Al Jardine opening up for Chicago, and I'm looking forward to it just because we're seeing some legends, and if they play 10 songs, that's good enough for me. I'm sure he'll have some stories and whatnot, I would hope. And the vocals are still good. I've seen him on YouTube, and I think they've got Al Jardine's son playing with him, singing with him. He's got a great voice, so I'm expecting a pretty good deal. Chicago, they're always solid. They're always going to be solid. It's one of these bands that's constantly touring, so they're going to put on a good show. I hope they got a good production. It's nice to see a good production. It's good to see a band, but it's nice to see production too. Which reminds me, Rod Stewart had the best backdrop ever. From bottom to top, from side to side, it was stunningly cool.
Yeah, it's all dope production of that show. I mean,
it's just
it wasn't a down in the dirt rock and roll show. No, it's more of almost a Vegas show. Kind of, I guess. But
hot damn, baby.
But not. I mean, it was authentic. It was Rod for sure. I mean, it was 77 years old and
good for him. But we'll see how Chicago brings it. I'm looking forward to it. Hope the weather holds. We've had good weather, 5 gigs in a row now, so we're very excited about that. But we're gonna let it go at that, Doc. Freaking A, man! Next Sunday night we'll be doing it again with another concert. Looking forward to it, and you have yourself a glorious week, man.
Yeah. And we should bring it up at the beginning, and we don't, focus on this, but we would like subscribers. We would like, folks to subscribe. We have our mighty crew right now, but hopefully we can gain some subscriers, and that way we can do some different things, and it really helps us out a lot.
It opens us up to be able to do some better, some live production and stuff like that. So that would really help. Thanks for mentioning that.
And just let us know that somebody out there watching, and we'll try to get the word out, and hope you really enjoy our show. Is there anything you'd like for us to talk about, delve into, or anything at all? Just put it in the comments, and we'd love to get some dialogue going of any type. So
absolutely,
just love talking about rock and roll, and I know there's lots of you out there to do too, and there's lots of other people on YouTube doing this same thing. But hopefully we have our little niche, and we'll have our little group of folks who like to watch from time to time, and that
would be cool, man.
So,
Well, absolutely. Have yourself a great week, Doc, and we'll see you next
oh
time.
yeah, absolutely. Have a great rock and roll filled week, everybody.